At the same time, ignorance is not bad to me. Is sometimes it is better for you not to know some things than for you to know them. King Solomon said, as knowledge increases, sorrow increases. Meaning that the more you know, the more you wish you don't know. Genesis chapter 1, verse 2. Now the earth was formless and empty, darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. Genesis chapter 1, verse 2 is much more deeper than chapter 1, verse 1. Please, if you have not watched Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, please go and watch it now before watching this particular verse, because that's watching that one is going to make you understand what I'm going to talk about in Genesis chapter 1, verse 2. Genesis chapter 1, verse 2 is philosophical, it is political, and at the same time, it is psychological also, but it is more political and philosophical at the same time. Genesis chapter 1, verse 2 is a very interesting verse to me, and of course, it's very deep. And this video is liable to be long. All right, now to start with, now I said, now the earth was formless and empty. Now I talked about the earth being resources, also you know, like I said, that politics is all about two things: power and resources. And here we're talking about earth being the resources here. That is the mother of all resources, the earth. That is, earth accommodates all resources. And here we have, now the earth was formless and empty. That word formless, if you have to check it up in the dictionary, it's going to say something like shapeless, like without a form. But was the earth really formless? Or should I say, is the earth really formless? Obviously, no, because scientifically speaking, it is believed that the earth is spherical, and the pictures that we have seen online over the years is kind of in a circle mode, right? So, but it's always said that the earth is spherical, like that. So now, but that word formless, it's just like a figure of speech. And if I'm to define that word formless for you from a political standpoint, I'm going to define formless as a political structure. And the word political structure is the same word I can use for a system, like a pattern, like a system of government. You get a governing systems, the way things are being run in, like, just for example, like an organization, meaning that if there is no system, there won't be a way of getting things done. That is, everything will just be kind of chaotic. Yet everything just be kind of chaotic. Like some Bible versions say that the earth was in chaos, like that. But right now, but this version of the Bible I'm using says that it is that the earth is formless. And like I said, formless means that there was no political structure on the earth. In other words, there was no system of government. And the second word used there, that is formless and empty. Some version says void. Void also means empty. Now, empty doesn't mean that there is nothing inside the earth. If the earth was empty, according to that verse, that means there will be nothing inside the earth. But in the earth, there was water. Although the Bible never told us how water got into the earth, but all the Bible just said was in, like, there was water there. We didn't know how God started the project of the heavens, the solar systems, and the earth itself. If I were to look at that word empty, it means there was nobody in the earth to set up the system, the political structure, that is the governing systems in the earth during that period. So that is one of the reasons why God had to come in, even after actually created the earth. And the Genesis chapter 1 itself is all about construction, like the construction project of the earth. Let's move further. Now it says that darkness was over the surface of the deep. Darkness was over the surface of the deep. I want to make a comment about darkness for the next few minutes. Darkness itself is always seen as a kind of bad thing, like a kind of bad idea. When you say darkness, it has different meanings, depending on how you're actually using it. The word darkness, as used in this verse of the Bible, that is Genesis chapter 1, verse 2, is that kind of absence of light. And when we say absence of light, absence of absence of illumination. And absence of illumination is what we call darkness, right? No light. It was all darkness and water. That is, the darkness was covering the waters. The way I see this, almost like as if entering the earth at that moment, you would not see anything. It would just be only water all through the earth. An interesting thing that came to mind just now is that even where I'm sitting now right now, during that period when God was creating the heaven and earth, it was all water. Where I'm sitting right now, where you are right now, watching this video right now, it was all water. To just picture how it was during that period of time. Now it says that darkness, and what darkness simply means is ignorance. And at the same time, ignorance is not bad to me. Is sometimes it is better for you not to know some things than for you to know them. King Solomon said, as knowledge increases, sorrow increases. Meaning that the more you know, the more you wish you don't know. I believe you get that concept of ignorance there. In this verse of the Bible, it says that darkness was covering over the deep. That is the deep waters, the waters itself, that is the deep. Everything God created by nature was created to dominate. Just like the same way water was dominating over all the earth. At the same time, darkness was dominating over water, which was dominating over the earth. Let me give you an example. If you plant, let's assume that in a forest, for example, if a forest is not controlled, like if a garden is not controlled, that is, grasses is going to grow everywhere. Because by nature, everything, like a grass will just keep growing everywhere and growing everywhere, and it won't know its limits. So the same thing actually applies to darkness here. So darkness was covering and the entire earth, meaning that darkness was dominating over the earth. And that is one of the reasons why God had to come in to come and put darkness in its place. I'm still going to talk about that more in my other videos about darkness, but for now, let me just focus on what this verse is talking about. Moving on, it says that, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. Now, this is two things here. At first, it was darkness that was dominating over the earth, and now the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters, meaning that the Spirit of God hovering over the waters there is almost like the Spirit of God was taking over domination from darkness at that moment. And for him to be able to make his domination permanent was the reason why he had to say, "Let there be light" in verse 3. I'm going to shed more light on that in my next video, which is Genesis chapter 1, verse 3. That's verse 2 of Genesis chapter 1 is like a kind of exchange of power and authority from a political perspective. That is, God, the Spirit of God was taking over from darkness at that moment. Now, and what we call spirit means energy, life, and power. And the best word I can use at the moment for spirit in this particular verse is energy. And energy is everything in life. Energy is everything. A man that has lost all his energy is what we refer to as a dead man. Humans have energy, plants have energy, even non-living things themselves have energy. For example, the moment you cut a tree down, and let's say turn it into a table, after some years it will start decaying gradually. That means that dead tree which you used to make a table has lost all its energy. I believe you understand what I mean. That is, it begins to go back. That means it's like kind of decaying. That means the table itself is losing its energy. So now let me go back to that Spirit of God. And what the Spirit of God here mean is not just one spirit, but it's actually like talking about it's talking about the attributes of God. And what is the Spirit of God? The Spirit of God are seven in numbers, which is the Spirit of the Lord, Spirit of wisdom, Spirit of understanding, Spirit of counsel, Spirit of might, Spirit of knowledge, and fear of the Lord. Those are the seven spirits of God. I'm going to talk about those seven spirits in the next few minutes so that you can understand this verse 2. The word Lord itself means power and authority. And in modern politics, we call that the government. That is Lord, government, power and authority. And at the same time, the original meaning of the word Lord itself is keeper of bread. That is, a person that is in charge of keeping bread was referred to as Lord in ancient times. And also, bread itself is a resources. So, in other words, you can say that Lord means keeper of resources. So that is what Lord means. And let me move to the next one, number 2, spirit of wisdom. And wisdom itself means sound judgment, or at the same time, you can call wisdom a plan, or at the same time, a strategy. How I came up with this definition of wisdom as a strategy is when King Solomon, the wisest king that ever lived, or let's say the wisest man that ever lived, was when two prostitutes came to him and they were fighting over a baby. So, with the wisdom that God gave King Solomon, he had a plan. He said they should split the baby into two, and that's what actually helped him to know the original mother of the baby. That's how I got to come to conclusion that wisdom is a plan and at the same time a strategy. But most importantly, wisdom means sound judgment. That is to be able to come to conclusion, the right conclusion. All right, then I also have number 3, which is the spirit of understanding. Understanding, in my own words, I can say is to become one, or let's say it's a relationship. That's just all I can say. Like, I'm still going to talk about this more, but understanding is just a relationship. It's that simple like that. To become one. And also we have a spirit of counsel, and counsel is the ability to provide legal advice. That is, you advise someone according to the law, just like the way we have in modern world today, whereby you go to a lawyer or a barrister to advise you on a specific issue or whatever it is. We also have spirit of might. Spirit of might is actually talking about the military. We must have read about this in the Bible where it says that the host of heavens, the host of heavens, that's the military. We also have spirit of knowledge. Knowledge simply means information, information. And we also have fear of the Lord. And you know, fear itself is also something that we easily count as negative, but most of the time, fear is not negative. It depends on how you actually use it. Fear can be a tool or it can be an enemy, depending on how you see it. If fear is a tool, you're going to use fear as a kind of force to push you to. But if you see fear as an enemy, you're going to submit to fear. That is, fear is going to be over you and you are going to just be depressed and miserable. So that's what is happening there. Meaning that when God was hovering over the waters in verse 2, and the Spirit of the Lord was hovering over the waters. When God was hovering over the waters, meaning that God was dominating over the earth with these 7 spirits of God. I believe you understand what I'm saying. If you don't understand, you can ask me questions. I'll explain more in the comment section. So, like I said earlier on, that what God was just trying to do was just to take over authority and power from darkness itself in Genesis chapter 1 verse 2. Thank you for watching this video and let me know what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next one.